Welcome to the Intimacy Lab. I'm Renee, an intimacy guide, surrogate partner, and professional cuddler. We're here to talk about intimacy in a much broader view than what you probably think. Most people think about intimacy as sex. We're going to break that apart here. Welcome to the lab. Welcome back to the Intimacy Lab. I love getting intimate with Alex. Alex is I call him my unicorn, probably because of the picture behind him. I don't know if it shows very well, but Alex is notorious around San Diego for his amazing business card that I think gets shared like probably more than any business card I've ever run across is like, you have to see Alex's business card. And so Alex is a colleague of mine here in San Diego. Would you do a quick introduction and then we'll talk about how we met and tell our cute meet story or whatever you call it there, you know? Meet cute, whatever it is. I'm old. I don't know these
Meaty
terms.
cute sounds fun too.
Okay. That works.
So thank you so much for having me, Michelle. I really appreciate it. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Alex Ray, or Alex Gay, as I'm known on online. I am a coach. I specialize in building confidence and why am I stumbling on this? I specialize in building confidence and self-esteem. I've worked in a few different kind of genres, I guess you could say, of coaching, but what I'm focusing on now is confidence and self-esteem within the context of sex and relationships. I love kink, and I love helping people feel more comfortable and confident to try out kinks that they've either dabbled with or never tried before, that they've been maybe curious about, because I know I had many kinks that I didn't feel that I could try myself until somebody else kind of gave me permission to try it by telling me that they were into it. Like the first time someone told me they were into water sports, I was like, what? You can say that out loud?
Golden showers?
Right? Oh my God.
Oh my, so edgy.
It's so edgy.
It is. I mean, to be fair, it really is considered edgy.
Is.
Yeah, absolutely. And I can see why somebody wouldn't come forward with that until they're like invited to. So yeah.
Yeah. But now, because he invited me to come forward with that like 4 or 5 years ago, now I feel comfortable being the one to initiate for others. So it's wonderful. I do all that, and then I also create porn. And the purpose of my porn, I say, is to show intimacy that you can learn from and get off to. I want people to watch it and think, I learned something and I can do that too. That's really kind of my goal with creating any of my porn content. So
on that note, to my children, my friends, my family, if you want to stop listening now, I'm sure I'm going to overshare. I'm going to overshare about my own relationship with my husband and who knows who else. I'm going to overshare about my relationship with Alex. If you want to bow out now, this is your chance to exit the plane because we're about to take off. And I think it's going to be an amazing fun time. Alex and I entertain the shit out of each other. And Gideon is, welcome to join in if he has anything to add.
He always insists on.
Don't you ever wonder if your animals could talk and what they would tell the world that they've witnessed?
Oh boy, I'm glad he can't talk.
Yeah.
I want to be able to have secrets if I want them.
Yeah, a dog running their mouth would not be cool.
Right,
no.
Yeah.
So
give me the autonomy over what I share.
Yeah. When I have people on here that I mean, most of the time, I don't know if I guess I've had a couple people on here that I haven't known in real life. I like to tell kind of our origin story. So how did Michelle and Alex meet? Well, one day sitting in Hillcrest, for my regular, I won't disclose the location, but I have a regular happy hour that I co-host for mental health and or intimacy pros. I like to say you don't have to be in mental health and intimacy, though you need to be sex positive, gender affirming, not an asshole to attend, culturally sensitive.
Important qualifications.
Yes, because we're a fun group, primarily people like sex therapists, people in sex work-ish in some way, right? And so I'm sitting there and watching people walk past the location, and here comes this tall man in, I think you were in like a platform boot or some kind of like chunky heel. You're very tall, so you put you in heels. This
I'm
long,
like
like
9 feet tall at that point.
you have this long, like straight black skirt with deep thigh slits, right? Like
They go
it's
all the way to the
all
hips,
leg walking
yeah.
with a bright pink blazer. And
Mhm.
I just went, oh my God, I hope this person is coming to my event because I need to know them, right? I was like, fingers crossed, hold my breath. And then you didn't for a few minutes. Like it felt like
Wow, probably
a
like 15
while.
or 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you went to the bar or something like that?
Yeah, I was waiting for Brittany to show up.
Oh, right. I forgot you guys
So,
came together.
right. So I thought like, oh, I don't know when she's going to get here. So I kept waiting because I get intimidated going into a new space on my own. Even though like I can do it. Sometimes it's just if I
Nice to
have
have
another
a,
person there,
yeah.
it's nice. Also, I think if I remember correctly, I went to the bar first to go, okay, let me get a drink. I don't drink alcohol, but they can make like a mocktail for me, and it gives me something to have in my hand for
Mm-hmm.
when I feel
Nervous
anxious in the social.
sips.
Yeah.
Nervous sips. I'm like that. I need like, it's like a security blanket, and it doesn't need to be
Mm-hmm.
alcohol. It just needs to be something to do with my hands and my mouth, right?
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Alex, I think when I describe you, I'm like, Alex is known for the best blowjob noises on Instagram that he
Oh
can
yeah.
get away with.
I
Like,
do really like that blowjob noise video. I need to do more of that. It popped off. It was really fun. It's my only post ever hit
I
a
need it
million
as like a
views.
gift that I can just have saved on my phone and just like send it to people. If you could
I
send that
love
over, I
people's
would appreciate
reaction.
that. Yeah.
The like, oh my god, I was not ready for that noise, or what the hell was that, or what did I just hear? Cracks
Yeah,
me up.
absolutely.
Yeah,
So
but
eventually Alex,
yes.
saunders into the happy hour, and I
Oh,
was like, oh yay, we can be friends. And
yes.
I think I said to you, I need to put my husband in your closet,
Yeah,
right?
I think
Because
you. Yeah,
I think it's
I
like
know you
probably the
said that.
first thing I said to you was like, I want to put my husband in your closet.
Yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
if it was the very first sentence out of your mouth, but it was probably within the first few for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Later on, I said I knew we needed to be friends, and you said something like, I did too. How did you, like, what was that for you? Where did you go, oh my gosh, we should be friends?
Well, I went to this event only knowing that it was going to be a space where different mental health professionals that were all sex positive were going to be meeting. And I knew nothing other than that. I didn't know who was organizing it. I didn't know anything. And so when I walked in, I always dress for anything a little over the top as I like to be, but also it's a tool that I use for social anxiety because I never have to be the one to start the conversation because my outfit invites people to start a conversation with me
Or select
and
out.
or select out. That's true. The
Mm-hmm.
assholes can just
Mm-hmm.
not
Show
start a
your way to the
conversation with me. I'm
door.
happy.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, when I did finally come over, and I think if I remember correctly, part of what took me a while too was people at the bar started a conversation with me about my outfit, and we ended
Mm-hmm.
up chatting for a bit. And eventually, I was like, okay, I need to go to this thing. I don't know where my friend is, but let me, um, let me go. Uh, I don't know. When I walked in, I remember feeling like, okay, I don't know these people, but like I know this is going to be a cool spot. And there's something about you that was just very easy for me to connect with. It felt very natural. You felt very welcoming, and um, I thought the more that I learned about you and what you do, I was like, you're so freaking cool. Like, I want to know more about you. Your life is interesting, and I find like I can dig for the interesting nugget in a lot of people, but many times at a gathering like this, it is a struggle. Most people are more boring than they think they are, and you fascinated me, and my
Okay.
ADHD loves like somebody that's interesting and different and has a story. So I was just immediately like, yeah,
I'll
you're
take
really
that.
cool. I want to know you.
I'll take that. I think us showing up together is always a really fun duo
So
because
fun.
like the two of us, I don't know. We're an interesting an interesting pair.
Yeah. You also, I think, of anyone I've ever met, you have the easiest time talking about sex and intimacy. You don't shy away from it. And that welcomed me to feel like, oh my God, yes, there's someone who is not afraid, who's not shying away from this. And that is, it's something unique about you that I think is really, really, really cool and
Or
special.
it's
And I don't
just a
ever
lack
want
of
you to change.
filter. Maybe it's just a lack of filter. Sometimes people tell me about things I've said on this podcast, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, I said that out loud. All right, cool. We're going to go there. You know that much about me.
I
Yeah.
do it too, but it's nice when like I'm not the only one in the room doing it. And
Yeah.
I cannot recall meeting anyone that either met me at my level or passed me.
I don't do blowjob sounds, so you've got me beat there. I will just. I also don't do blowjob competitions anymore. I have been in blowjob competitions. I don't try. Like, I'm not interested in winning. I'm not competitive. Yeah. I'm like, you're going to beat me. I'm here for the experience just to say I've done it.
So I have never done a blowjob competition. I imagine people line up to give one person a blowjob and then that person rates their favorite.
So what we did is we took a dildo and we put on lipstick.
Okay.
And then we competed who could take the most of this dildo. Like, basically, it's more of a deep throat competition.
Oh.
And so you could mark your spot based on the color lipstick.
Okay, I did that with a banana one time.
Long jump. It's kind of like a long jump competition, right?
So funny.
So
I did that years ago. I was very drunk. I was at this like retreat thing, and all of us had just gotten back to the Airbnb from partying, and like they're like, oh my God, let's see who can get the banana the deepest. They go like 1 or 2 inches. I'm the third person. I go, give me that. I put the whole thing all the way into my mouth, and I closed my mouth and went,
Is it with the peel on it or with the peel off of it?
Peel off.
Okay.
Peel off. Yeah. But then all of them went, okay, Alex wins.
By default, nobody wants to try to beat you.
Also, no one wanted to put that banana in their mouth after it had been down my esophagus.
Well, yeah, I would be worried about it breaking off and like choking. But like, this is the mom in me that shows up and is like, well, wait a minute. What about safety, kids?
Right.
So.
Speaking of mom, though, you were usually daddy when we go out, and I love that.
So this is what I say. Like, there's this like, are you my work wife or my work husband? And I think you prefer work wife.
Yeah.
And I always say I'm the mask in this relationship. You're the femme.
Absolutely. It's
such a lovely flip on everything that society expects.
Yeah.
And I fucking love you. I absolutely, I love showing up with you. You are my favorite +1. Like, no offense to any of my other +1s that I've ever had. Like, especially no offense to my husband. But like, I absolutely adore you. Okay. So before we can, we have so much that we're going to be juicy about today, but because this always has some we're not really strangers. Mm-hmm. Do you feel like warming up the audience with some couples questions, or should we jump into the XXX?
Let's open up with the couples questions. I love this.
These are not pre-selected.
Okay.
So, I don't know. Okay, so these 2 levels, just like the other deck. So the perception level is level 1. What assumption did you make about me that turned out to be right? And we'll both answer this about each other. Well, I mean, you showed up in a bright pink blazer and a skirt and heels, so the assumptions were all over the place.
Right.
I made an assumption that you were incredibly confident, and you're trying to tell me that you're not, but I know you are. You are confident. Maybe confident with social anxiety. I think you can have both.
Absolutely. I think confidence is different than arrogance, and it's also different than being like blindly confident. I think I have like earned confidence or developed confidence.
Developed confidence. I like that.
I think it's not really earned. It's
nurtured.
Really nurtured. It's practiced. I also know it comes from a deep trust that I'm not going to abandon myself like I used to. Yeah. It comes from a deep trust that even if I do, because I'm not perfect, that I'm going to be kind to myself on the other side, no matter what I do and no matter what anyone else does.
So I think that when I saw you dressed as you were dressed, I saw that as, wow, you've got a lot of confidence. And what I heard you say earlier was maybe that you dressed that way how did you word it? Like to give.
Well, the social anxiety tool that came later. I didn't do that intentionally
Oh, okay.
originally, but I realized after I started dressing that way, I was like, oh my God, everyone starts a conversation with me. This makes it so easy.
And I love that because I think it's the opposite of what I would assume. For
Mm-hmm.
me, I have some social anxiety,
Mm-hmm.
and standing out would almost, to me, feel like the opposite of what you would want to do with social anxiety. And I love how you've like harnessed it, flipped it around.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like did a whole twist on it. And so I think that's the assumption that isn't right, that you
Mm.
wouldn't have social anxiety, right?
Yeah.
The assumption of confidence is correct,
Yeah.
right? But for me, confidence and social anxiety, even though I have both too, the
Yeah.
assumption is that they don't necessarily go together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm trying to. This question is very tough for me because I tend to like have issues remembering like details like that.
Because you
So
rewrite
I'm,
them, right? Because
yeah,
you know me differently at this point.
trying to think of like what I might have assumed about you at first. I think probably, as soon as I found out what you did, I knew, I rightly assumed that you were a safe person
Mm-hmm.
to talk about sex work with
Mm-hmm.
and to learn from. You're very generous in the way that you share knowledge. And I
Mm-hmm.
think a lot of people in many industries tend to feel threatened by anyone that's new, and they don't want to share things. They want to gatekeep. And
Mm-hmm.
that's not you at all. And so I don't know, maybe that's not really exact. That part isn't really exactly an assumption. But the first part is like, I rightly assumed that your experience, you know what the hell you're talking about. Maybe an assumption that got challenged later was learning about the arc of your journey in the work that you do.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would not have guessed that you were asexual when we first met.
Yeah, well, I have people tell me that I'm not, which is
Well,
really
that's
fucking
bullshit.
pisses me off. Like, you want to find the fastest way to get written out of my life? Tell me that you don't respect an identity of mine or know better than
Mm-hmm.
me.
About
Like,
yourself.
there is somebody in the world right now who knows if they listen to this podcast, but I've been told that they don't believe I'm asexual because supposedly we had a conversation that I wanted to have sex with them. A, we didn't have that conversation, but B, I can want to have sex and not be and still be asexual,
Yeah.
which rolls us in to a lovely conversation that you and I had yesterday.
Yes, it
So
did.
I want to pivot for a minute before we do another card. Alex is starting a podcast called Kink Curious or Kink
Yeah.
Curious.
Kink Curious. Mm-hmm.
I get to be a little smidgen part of it. I don't think it makes me a porn star, but who knows? One day it could happen. I haven't decided if that's something I want on my resume or not.
You have so many things on your resume. You can
Why would I
always add
not have
another
that
whenever you
one? I
want.
remember Joan Price is a senior sex educator.
Okay.
And her and Jessica Drake put together a series of porn for senior sex. And there was a casting call for couples over 50 to do this. And I was like, if I was over 50, I would jump on the opportunity to be a part of that. So who knows? Maybe there'll be a time where you're like, Michelle, I totally need a 49, almost 50-year-old woman. It's not that far away before I hit 50. It's this year.
Right. And
Who knows?
that's the magic number you have to hit, apparently.
To be a senior? I mean, I'll take it. Whatever. If it's empowering seniors to do porn, that might be the reason that I say yes.
Well,
You
honestly,
know?
that might be a fine episode to do.
I mean, okay, so let me back up. So Alex
Yes.
is like, Michelle, I want to use you as like my phone a friend. At least this is how I've held it in my brain. You can correct me if this is if the storyline here is wrong. But you're like, I want to use you in this project I have coming up. I'm going to get pegged by a woman. And for those at home who don't know what pegging is when, traditionally, and I think that they've tried to broaden the definition in most recent years. Traditionally, it was a term that was coined with Dan Savage for a female-bodied person using a strap-on on a male-bodied person, somebody with a prostate specifically. And now it's just, I think, become a more universal term for strap-on sex. To I think some other identities have wanted to use the phrase, and I don't care what you want to call it. It's a form of sex with a strap-on, whatever
Exactly.
bodies, right? But you had an episode planned where you were going to get pegged.
Yes.
By
By
a
a woman.
dominatrix, right?
A
Pro dom.
dominatrix. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And the idea was like, I'll call Michelle and she'll give me some tips.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
So, what would you like to say
each
about that?
episode, basically, I work with a collaborator, usually a porn star. Um, we talk ahead of time about a kink that they're into. It can be something that they're known for. It could be something that they just enjoy. Uh, and then we plan an episode around this topic. And I always phone a friend either ahead of the recording or during the recording, and that friend has input for me on different things depending on who it is. And we've got a wide variety of different phone a friend people that I'm calling in to give input. And to me, like, each of them are also different, right? Sometimes it's about bringing a voice to the audience, because I know that if the audience could talk right now, they would have all these questions, or they'd have this shock about, like, oh my god, I can't believe you're doing this, Alex, or what's going through your head right now. And then other times it's really about, hey, let's show Alex's internal experience, and I need somebody else to talk that out with. And so that's why I really wanted to have you on this episode, because this was my first time going to, like, this far with a woman, and I wasn't sure how my body was going to react. I wasn't sure how my brain was going to react. I wasn't. It was a lot of unknowns, and I knew about you that you've done pegging before,
Mm-hmm.
and I feel very confident and comfortable with you, like, talking about my sex life, and I know that you would have good advice for me. And also, you were the first woman to ever touch my penis, other than a doctor, and that was amazing. It was
I
so
even
awesome.
touched your prostate.
You,
Like, I get the
that's
twofer.
right. Yeah.
These
What?
these fingers have been inside you, at least one of them. I don't remember
Yeah.
if I went to two or more, but I do know that
I
I
think
had
you did put two fingers in
I
me, if I
think,
remember.
okay, I at
Yeah.
least, so I had it. I knew I had at least one, but cool. I've had my, probably these two
Yeah.
inside of you. And
Yeah.
I take so much joy in sharing that. Like, there's a pride I have of being, I love being people's first.
Yeah.
But you were also the first gay man that I've touched their penis, or
Really? Well,
you
that
know,
gives
got
me.
to touch their prostate. So we share this like virginity first thing together.
Yay.
And
That feels
when
special.
I love telling people about it, because the first question they go, how was that?
Right.
Right? They expect it to be like either a disaster, maybe, or I'm not sure what they think happens. Like, there's some kind of chemical, like maybe there's an electric shock process that happens. I'm not sure what they think, but I'm like, it was for science. Like,
Yeah.
Alex was celebrating your 30th birthday, and leading up to
Yep.
your 30th, you did, what was it called? 30.
30 dirty thrills.
Yeah. And we were sitting, it was, I think, right after the election.
Yes.
Yeah, we were sitting there chatting, and you were like, I really want to try sounding, I think is
Mm-hmm.
what you said. Like, you came up with, like, this is one of your 30 things that you'd like to try.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I know how to sound. And for the listeners at home, probably don't want to Google this one. Sounding is taking I like to use the steel rods,
Yeah.
but I have a silicone set too. I don't recommend silicone. You take a steel rod and you place it in the urethra, and it can be done to penises or I guess, what would you call, I guess, the vaginal urethra? I don't know how you would describe it, the difference, but on both
Urethras in
bodies.
general. Just all
Yes, you can
urethras.
take a rod and stick it in a urethra, and what you experience on the other side is a stretching sensation.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know how, if you would describe it. I've had people describe it as like electricity.
Yeah, it's. Oh my god, I'm trying to remember what it. I described it so well the first time, right after it, because it was so fresh in my mind. But
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, electricity feeling was definitely one of it, and the other part that to me was the most significant or consistent sensation every time I've done it, the first time with you and every time since, is it's that feeling of satisfaction when you pee, where it's
Mm,
like a that it's kind of like relief, it's satisfaction, it's not necessarily like an erotic sensation. For some it might be like, it is a little bit for me because I also like piss play,
mm-hmm,
but I don't know, it's just like kind of like when someone gives you a good like scratch on your head when you're getting your
mm,
head
mm-hmm,
shampooed at
mm-hmm.
the salon. It's like
And that might be that tingly. Maybe that's what they were
mhm.
identifying as electric, is more of a tingly sensation.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
me it depends. I can do tingly sensation, and I can also, it's like a smoother sensation that's just
Okay.
it's a
Mm-hmm.
it's that
Release
noise.
some kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Well, I
but you
love
can
that you were,
control it
yeah.
because you can like turn it on,
Yeah.
you can turn it off, you can turn it more intense, you can turn it less intense, and that's really cool.
Yeah. So I was like, I can help you with this. I can
Yeah.
teach you. Because here's the thing I love about or what I think is important when we talk about kink is education, right?
Yes.
So being able, my San Diego wife Sarah taught me how to do sounding, and so I've never received it. It's been something that I've considered. I have a friend who's really known for sounding vulvas on women,
Oh,
sounding
cool.
urethras on women, vulva
Hmm.
owners, whatever. Um, and I've just not taken the opportunity to do it. It's like, yeah, I mean, if the invitation was right there in front of me, I would say, yeah, let's
Hmm.
I want to know what that's like. Kind of like there was one time I was at a kink party and somebody pulled out a blow dart and was like, anybody want a blow dart to the ass? And I was like, of course, because how many times is somebody going to make that invitation?
Right.
Right? Like, I want to know what that feels like. I'm an experimentalist.
Same.
I just have to try it, right? So,
Right.
a curious person, and we're going to talk about curious sexual as a terminology that I like to use, right? So I love that I got to teach you from the point of how to sterilize your equipment to,
Hmm.
so it's safe
Yeah.
and still edgy, right?
Yeah.
And the fact that, I was fully clothed, Alex was not, and I got to just be a supportive person to take you through this experience, though it may not be the same as if it was your partner sitting across from you or somebody else. Like, I think adjusting our expectations, and that is what we talked about yesterday leading up to your first pegging experience, was staying curious and like, what does success look
Yeah.
like modifying our expectations to be, realistic and adjustable. And you don't have to give it away because I know it'll be a really juicy episode, but like, how was it?
It was really, really good. I This is what um I'll tell everyone this right now. That experience was more pleasurable than almost any time I have hooked up with a man and he's tried to dominate me. I was like, I would take this over any of those experiences.
I love that.
Yeah, it was
Your
really good.
flexibility, and like, you're so not rigid in the sense of, I have this is what I'm supposed to like or want.
Hmm.
And I don't know if it's because you're a sex educator and it comes from this like more expansive, I'm not afraid to try new things space, but like,
I,
it, you and I, we sat at breakfast the other day plotting out, should we try having sex with each other?
right.
Because I'm curious about topping you. Like, I want to take
Yeah.
you through impact play and some knife play and stuff. And also, like, maybe we want to have sex. I don't know. And
Right.
you're like, I don't know. Like, what would, my husband goes, what would that look like? How does a gay guy, and Michelle, which I identify as queer, but like, I'm asexual, and like, so it means I technically don't have sexual attraction for anyone, right?
Hmm.
But I have sex with all sorts of different bodies.
Right.
And how does this happen? And I go, well, because I'm asexual, I'm used to having sex with people I'm not sexually attracted to. And so we just have to convert that over for a playbook for Alex, which is what I did with you as advice for the pegging scene, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Your lens was so helpful to look at it through the perspective of being curious, because I am a very, very curious person naturally. And um, focusing on, okay, what am I feeling in my body? How is my body responding, rather than how is my brain responding to
Mm-hmm.
this?
Mm-hmm.
And to this day, including that experience yesterday, I don't think I've ever had romantic attraction to women. I've
Mm-hmm.
never felt like, oh my God, like I want to be in love with this woman. I want to build a life with this woman. That's never that's never been present for me. I've only felt that towards men, but I have for years said, if I was ever going to try anything sexual with a woman, um, then she would have to be like a dominatrix. I want to have like a powerful woman is really hot to me. I think it goes against my religious upbringing of women being like subservient to men, and I love anything that is heretical. I also just love this goes to my neurodivergence. I love challenging the norms. And so there's also been this part of me that has felt like once I fully accepted myself as gay, then I was like, wow,
Now you
now
can
this
fuck with
label
it.
is right. Because the label started feeling like it was limited or
Mm-hmm.
limiting me. Like I was like, what do you mean if I have a sexual experience with a woman, you're gonna tell me I'm not gay anymore? I'll show you.
Well, it's
Watch
just
this.
like, are you familiar with Dr. Joe Court at all?
No, I don't think so.
He's a sex therapist out of Detroit.
Okay.
He's got a really popular TikTok channel. And he got popular talking about how men can have sex with men and not be gay. So it's
Mm,
kind of the inverse of this, right? Is like who you have sex with is not necessarily about your orientation.
right. Yeah.
It's like I put out a piece about International Asexual Day was Sunday,
Mm,
and I put out a piece where I really part of it was my disappointment in the sex therapy or intimacy professional arena around the lack of understanding about what asexuality is.
mm,
And I quote I didn't use his name, I quote a very famous sex therapist who I had a lot of respect for until he erased my identity in a post about why do asexuals need a community? Like
mm,
why label yourself? We don't label people that only like to have sex in the dark. And I'm like, you're not understanding what it means. This is about, we ask everyone to declare their sexual orientation,
right.
right? I'm not sexually attracted to anyone, which makes me asexual.
Right.
It's like the difference between you saying like your romantic attraction versus your sexual attraction versus whatever. Like if you're asking me to declare my sexual orientation, that would be my sexual orientation.
Right.
And I can
Uh,
have sex with all sorts of people.
right. Because
Yeah.
for you, it's not about having the sexual attraction. Yeah.
Mm-mm. It's
And
somebody
that
to
kind of,
do an activity with.
yes.
We could go bowling, right? I say this often. It's just another activity. Do we want to go bowling or do we want to have sex?
Right. And that's how I was able to approach yesterday. Thanks to you giving me that lens and perspective, it really like encouraged me to feel so much less pressure around the experience. And like it was an activity, and it was a very fun activity and a very pleasurable activity.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that. I can't wait for this episode to come out. I mean, this episode, but also what I really meant was your new podcast to come out, which will be on Just for Fans because it is going to be spicy.
The video demo of me getting pegged is going to be on Just for
Right.
Fans. The beginning and end where we talk about things and we're not actually showing things, that will be on YouTube and other
Good.
podcast
Yay.
platforms. Yeah. So
Then I
people
can
can
share
still
it all
kind of
over the place.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
I am so I hadn't got that clarity yet, but that's really good to know.
Yeah.
Um I I hope you're a real role model
Thank you.
for all sorts of people to just be experimental. Like we talked about in the lead up, is like, what is success? Success is that you didn't abandon yourself and that you
Mm-hmm.
followed your yes,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
And just keep doing more of what feels good.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah, that's what sex should look like.
I agree.
And it's still sex, even when it's pegging. It's still sex, even when it's not PIV or whatever. It's just, anyways. Okay. Are
Yeah,
you ready
I
for another
define sex
question?
so broadly. I also define kink very broadly too. To me,
Yeah.
kink is like anything other than missionary baby making sex.
With
So,
a hole in the sheet. Like,
right.
although I think that would be really kinky.
Right.
Like at this point, I joke with
And
my husband that we're kinky if we turn the lights off because we always
yeah.
have the lights on.
Yep. Yep.
Whatever. Okay.
I'll
Are
go with
you
that.
ready for another question?
I'm ready.
Okay. What's one small thing I do that tells you everything you need to know about me? Mind you, everyone at home, this is the couples edition. And Alex and I have joked about taking this as like a road show where we would sit on a stage and answer these questions about each other because we are the funnest couple.
We are. We are so fun. Wait, okay, say the question again.
What's one small thing I do that
Uh-huh.
tells you everything you need to know about me? And I have one answer for myself from you. Like I figured out what I would say if I were you,
Okay.
but I'll let you come up with something first and then we can share that side too if you come up with one that I should use for
Well,
you.
I struggle with the word small thing because I think to you it is a small thing. And I think to other people, they're like, they're shocked.
Uh-huh.
Your ease in talking about sex and intimacy, the way
Huh.
you just approach it so easily,
Yeah.
and just it's like a part of normal conversation, like the weather.
Yeah.
And yeah, that
I mean, I would say the same in my answer for about you is that like there's a lack of shame,
mm-hmm.
right? And that might feel like a really big thing, but I think it's a really important characteristic about you is that like and I don't want this to I have a very protective mama bear instinct for me.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know if we've ever talked about this, but I remember we went to an open house for a therapy office, and I asked if you wanted to be my date, and you were like, yes, and I picked you
Yeah.
up, and and we went to that, and then I was like, oh, friends are meeting for a drink. Are you sure you want to go to Santee? Like Santee, if you're not familiar with the San Diego area, it's a little more of the red side of the
Yeah.
of the county, right? And you were again dressed to the nines, right?
Yeah.
And there
Probably
was
in
a
that
part
same
of
skirt.
me, probably was the same skirt, which that skirt looks amazing on my husband too. I just want to say,
It does.
like,
He looks fabulous in it.
fabulous. Anyways, dress up parties are fun. Everyone should try it. Anyways, so as we're walking into that establishment, which I knew was a friend, I knew the owners would be friendly enough just based on that they were friends with my friend, but I didn't know about the other people. And there was a part of me that was like, Mama Bear ready to like cut a bitch, right? Like
Yeah.
anything I had to do to like, I made this like, oh, how is this going to go? Because I hadn't explored space with you that's outside of like, I would say more like gay and gender friendly
Yeah.
establishments. And I was like, whew, am I going to have to go like break out the brass knuckles? What are we going to do here? Right. Like,
Yeah.
and so you were like, yeah, no, not a problem. If it gets to be too much, I'll just call your boyfriend, not my boyfriend, your boyfriend to come pick you up. Right.
Yep.
And yeah, but I was like, ooh, how do I navigate assholes? Cause
Yeah.
I will burn shit down.
That is that is a really important, and maybe it's funny because you make me feel comfortable like that. Like I feel seen, I feel safe with you. I never feel uh like if something happened and somebody was like bullying me in front of you, it's never even crossed my mind that you would just like back up and let me take it.
I will not
And
fawn for you.
no, which is
I have a history of turning on the full customer service version of Michelle, right? Where a complete fawn response shows up and I'm like, I'm so sorry I made you uncomfortable. Oh my gosh, how could I,
yeah.
but I promise you I would not do that with you.
Yeah, no. I think that all of it goes to you just make me feel so safe to just be me around you. I never feel like I have to filter anything. and it's really easy for me to like bring up and just share things with you very casually that with other people can feel very intimidating, or kind of like I'm thinking ahead to how are they going to judge me. I
Mm-hmm.
never think, how is Michelle going to judge me?
Oh no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't worry
Yeah.
about that with me at all.
No.
No,
Yeah.
no. I'm more like, oh, you've just now tried that thing. Let me tell you about my first time.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're like,
Yeah.
that's not a big deal, Alex.
I remember driving to LA with you and us sharing like our golden shower experiences, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, there's not a lot of things I haven't tried. There are things, and there are things I'm not interested in trying, but I will not yuck someone else's yum. And most likely I've done it too. So
There you go.
it's the reality of it. It's been a good 10 years post divorce. I'll say that. I did not smoke weed until I got divorced at 30. Was I 38?
Wow. Good for
That
you.
was my first drug.
Oh my goodness. Such a rebel.
I know. And now I think I've got 3 illegals under my belt. I don't know. Anyways, won't name them. But anyways, want another question?
I want another question.
Okay.
Yeah.
How would you describe the way I love you to a stranger?
Wait. This is, how would I describe?
How would you describe the way that I love you to a stranger?
To a stranger. Okay.
I think you love me very much like Paul, in the sense that what I love about Paul when I first met him is that when I expected him to be put off by my authenticity and my openness around other people, that he celebrated me instead of being like, why are you talking about that? That's private. You should keep that to yourself. I see you in the same way about you love me very like honestly.
Yeah, that's true. I do love you very honestly.
Mm-hmm.
I would describe the way that you love me similar. It's a blend between like a partner and a friend, like a friend that I've known forever, even though we've
And a
been
little
known
bit
each
of
other for like
daddy.
a year. And a little bit of daddy. Yeah, like it's you love me in a similar to what you explained. Like you love me just being myself.
Mm-hmm.
You I think are able to see things about me that sometimes I'm not even aware of yet or thinking, and you're like ready to welcome that part of me as soon as I'm ready as well. Or sometimes you're also like, oh, what about this? Sometimes
I make some assumptions about you. Like the other day, you told me like that when you went down to Black's Beach with us, that was like your first time around a naked woman.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, I was shocked, and then I thought about it later. I'm like, why am I shocked?
Right.
Why am I shocked? Like I just imposed you into my world, like you'd been there for a decade or something.
And that's you're just you brought me in so quickly, and I really appreciate that. It just, yeah, I think we both do a wonderful job of making the other feel safe to be authentically ourselves.
Yeah.
And that's really special to me.
Yeah. No, I feel the same safety with you. Absolutely. Which is why I like to get curious with you. Because it's like, what is the harm here? We're not going to, let's just say one day craziest things happen and we fuck. Let's say it goes incredibly wrong, whatever that means. I'm not sure what that actually would mean, but like, I would never worry that like, oh no, we can't be friends anymore. We're doing it as friends.
Yeah.
Like,
right. You know, there's a difference too. I have had several women throughout my lifetime tell me, oh, let me be your first. Oh, if you're ever looking to experiment, I would love to. With every single one of them, until you, it felt like they wanted to get something out of it. It felt like it was for them.
What would you get out of that? I don't know.
I don't know. The pride of being my first or something.
I mean, I get that out of it. Let's just be real fucking clear. I am owning that I have that notch on my belt, okay?
But I didn't feel like you were unevenly taking something from me. Right?
Yeah.
And that's what it has felt like every other time I've had like an offer. With you, it felt more like, hey, I'm a safe space if you ever want to try this, and like we're friends, and like nothing's at at stake here. Like, if you ever want to experiment, I think it could be pretty
Oh, I do
cool. And
remember
it
that
feels like an
conversation now.
invitation.
I
Yeah.
remember that because my brain went to, oh, we just sitting over breakfast
Yeah.
navigating this thing we're both curious about. But I do remember that
Exactly.
conversation now that it came up and you were like, I mean, I'm curious. And I was like, I would volunteer. Like,
Right.
yeah.
That's so different than when I've had and I don't think this is a unique experience to me. I'm pretty sure other gays have experienced similar things where women that are close to them are like, "Oh, if you ever want to try," and it has always to me felt like they were doing it for their sake. They were not making an offer to experiment with me, to play with me. It wasn't about that.
We'll
They
say
wanted
this.
something from me.
I
Yeah.
had a friend back in the day who we were very close. Kind of, I said we're like work spouses in the sense that I was at home and he was at work, and we would spend all day on Messenger with each other. And we had a really lovely friendship that had a lot of chemistry to it. And I had a huge crush on him. Right.
Yeah.
And if he had, I was not in an open relationship at the time. So I guess it would have been very complicated, but I would have jumped on it. But from a place of hoping that there was something else there.
Yeah.
Like, and I don't know if that's any of the experiences that you've had, and you probably don't know that either. But I will say that I'm not that mindset of mine is such a past version of me. This is like Michelle married the first time version, where there was a lot of different reasons to have sex, and I was waiting for somebody to rescue me. And he was just a fantasy that was very unattainable. For some reason, that was very familiar for my system, right?
Yeah, I think there's something to that because with you, I feel like my worst fear has always been that I get into a situation where I'm experimenting consensually with a woman, but then like I'm not getting aroused, or I'm like, hey, I'm starting to feel like I don't even want to do this anymore, and I'm changing my mind, right? I have always felt like that would break a woman. That the ones that have offered in the past. With you, I feel like you and I trying it, we would go into it knowing that like both of us are prepared to enter this without the sexual attraction part showing up, and we're just gonna experiment and have fun and like see what bodies do.
I've made up a story that Alex is probably capable of having lovely touch, right?
I'm a great cuddler.
I can, with lack of a lot of visualization because I have aphantasia, but I can imagine in the best way I can that you would be comfortable to share that space with. We may decide to eat pizza naked. You know what I mean? Like that might be what sex looks like for us. Who knows? Right? But like, I don't worry about it being a awkward, non-communicated space.
Yeah.
You'd be like, you know what, Michelle, you told me about that peanut butter chocolate ice cream you have in your freezer, and I think that sounds better than this right now. And I'd be like, I think you're right.
Right. But then I also would feel so comfortable, like, like having closeness, having bodily contact with you. It's just not.
Yeah.
You're not a vampire. You're not trying to suck the life out of me.
And I just happen to have a lot of experience of having to wait for my arousal to show up, for my desire to show up. So I don't have to go into it with like I'm hot for this thing to happen. I am hot for the curiosity is growing.
Yeah.
And like, I do have this, like, wouldn't it be a fucking cool story to tell? Like, there's that, like, I love collecting fun stories. And so this would be another chapter in my book one of these days of like that one time. Remember that one time? Yeah.
Remember that one time? That was pretty cool.
Are you ready to move into some triple X?
I want it.
Okay,
I was going to ask for it.
The first level is just 1X.
Oh, just 1X, okay.
But I think we have we still had a little bit of time, so I think we can maybe get through a whole 3 levels and get to the triple X.
I'm game.
We've been building. What are you most attracted to that isn't physical? I read that wrong in my head at first, and I was like, oh, this is going to be an interesting one. Okay. I read it wrong the first time.
Yeah. I heard it wrong in my head too the first time you said it. Yeah.
I was like, are we going to have to talk about what we're physically attracted to about each other? That will be interesting.
Right.
I could say you've got a tight ass body.
Thank you.
I will
Thank
throw that out there as a off card. What my first thought was comment. I will say, like I said to you one time, is it okay for me to objectify you? And you're like, fuck yeah, please do.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, cool. I
Yeah.
could do that.
The way so much I'm okay with so much with consent. The thing I don't mm, when I am just like normal just with a friend and they start objectifying me when there's no context around that, like we're not talking about sexual things, when they start just sexualizing me, that has made me uncomfortable in the past. But with you, one, you ask consent. Two, we talk about that stuff with each other.
It's
So it
not
wasn't
unusual.
weird for you to ask for consent in the first place. And I perform a lot, right? If somebody wants to sexualize me while I'm performing, whether it's go-going, whether it's me showing up online on Instagram or OnlyFans or anything like that, please objectify me. That's what I'm there for.
But also include a tip.
Right, please.
Right?
Yeah.
You're not a professional for free.
Give me a cash tip.
I thought about you. I went to Lips to the gospel brunch last Sunday. Second time I've gone. I went before COVID, and my friend Phoenix was in town and wanted a drag brunch. And I was like, oh, we couldn't find anything else. And I was like, there's always Lips. Lips does 2 gospel brunches every Sunday. Like we can go to the early show or the later show, right? Like it's a given. Yeah. And they do such a good job of priming the audience to tip, right? For sure. Such a good job. And it just reminded me of conversations we've had about, we don't live in a cash economy, and it's really hard for performers to get their tips. So
absolutely.
Oh, I should answer this.
Honesty for me.
Honesty for you. For me, oh my gosh, a vulnerable conversation is such a turn on for me. Share something that's a little difficult to share. If you share tears with me, fuck. Yeah.
Totally.
Yep. Okay.
I agree. Oh, look, we're
already at double X. Okay. The best way to get me into bed is blank. I almost just said it, right? Like vulnerable conversation. But no, I will tell a story, but do you want to go first? How does one get you into bed? How do you bed Mr. Coach Alex Ray?
The best way to get me
besides money.
The best way. Okay, why don't you tell your story, because I'm still thinking about my answer. Okay, so
I hang out with a lovely gentleman who I call my platonic boyfriend. Yes. And we have not made the decision to move to a sexual relationship at this point. Who knows what the future holds? And we often spend the night together, and we cuddle and sleep naked. And we are cuddled up one night. And mind you, he's very lovely, such a sweet man. You've met him. But we don't really play in like even the tease around sex. Like we talk about it openly, but it's not like a building of like chemistry. Like there's not a flirtation kind of around sex. There's not a tease around sex. It's kind of like, will we or won't we? I don't know, whatever. Yeah. So we're laying in bed, and I'm the little spoon. He's the big spoon. And he does this like, I love light touch. And he does this light touch down my back. And I go, that, sir, will get you laid. Like, again, it's the quality of the touch that is the turn on that brings desire, right? Because I'm responsive desire. I have to have arousal before sexual desire shows up. And it was just that light touch on my back. And I was like, oh, that could take me places, right? Like that gets you laid.
Okay, I love that. For me, there's kind of a two-parter. When I find someone very interesting and alluring, so like if you have a little bit of mystery to you, if you have interesting stories that capture my attention, that gets me interested. And it has to be coupled with a sense of autonomy. If I feel that somebody's trying to trick me into something, or that I don't have a welcome door to say no, then old Alex would probably not mind that. New Alex goes,
same.
screw that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm perfectly happy. I don't need sex with you. I don't want sex with you. Goodbye. Like,
I used to use sex to validate myself, right? To
mm-hmm.
show me that I am desirable to you or that I'm worth
Yeah.
picking or whatever, right?
Mm-hmm.
And nowadays my body is so much louder about, does it feel like I could say no to this person if we got into the middle of it, like you were just saying about with me, like does this person feel like somebody I could change my mind with?
Yeah.
Because if not, why bother? Why risk it? Why, like, I don't want to end up in a situation where I fall back into old patterns where I'm just trying to keep myself emotionally safe. I don't know about if I think I'm physically unsafe, but I have a real history of like kind of fawning in sexual situations.
Yeah. That used to be me
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
First sexual experience ever was being coerced by my friend.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've told this story before on here. You haven't met the pussy whisperer yet, have you? No, you
no,
haven't.
but I've heard lots about the pussy whisperer.
Yes. So one of my favorite things about him was when I was debating on playing with him solo and not as part of like a group situation like I had before. I was hesitant to say to him that I really just wanted to receive. I didn't want to have to reciprocate. And
Yeah.
his thing was like, I'm a grown ass man. I can take care of myself. And I was like, well, hello. That makes me feel like a better yes.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Totally.
We love that. Okay. One day you'll meet him. Okay.
I hope so.
He's a really lovely person. Okay. We've made it to the triple.
Mm,
What's the hottest thing someone has ever said to you in bed?
the hottest thing someone's ever said to me in bed. It's definitely got to be, again, this is where like memory, I'm like, oh my God, specifics. I remember a vibe, but do I have
I
to
know
remember
I'm not
the
sure
vibe?
exactly the word, but I know it was one of two words, and I'll explain that when I get to mine.
It's there. Can I tell the hottest thing? It wasn't in bed, but let me tell you what, it is one of the reasons that I'm with my partner now.
Mm-hmm.
So early on, we knew that the goal was eventually to be in an open, non monogamous relationship. I was very anxious about it. I had just left a terrible first experience of non monogamy. And my partner and I were working out at the gym together. This is early on. And he complimented someone else's ass to me. He was like, look at that guy's ass. It's so great. And a couple minutes later, I said to him, hey, I'm just noticing that I'm feeling a lot of anxiety in my body. Like, is my ass that good? Like, are you into mine? Like that. And he didn't say a word. He put out his finger, like the number one, onto my chest. And then with the other hand, he made the motion like he took an iron. And then he went, and it was like he was ironing on the patch, the number one patch. Knowing that I was his number one, holy shit, I started tearing up and I was like, oh my God, just marry me already, right? Like that was my reaction right
And
there.
he has a great booty too. Like,
He does have a great booty.
he
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
He also doesn't even remember doing that, which is so great because it was just a natural reaction of his. It
Yeah. It wasn't a
like,
line that he uses on all of his boyfriends.
no.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's probably it. Like hearing that I'm somebody's number one.
Mm.
No.
I will say that I don't. There might be plenty of other really hot things that have been said to me in bed. I have some favorite compliments, but I will say this: the hottest thing, and I said this. This was a client of mine. He came up from going down on me, and he just goes, God, I love the way you smell. And I go, that will get you laid so often, friend. If you do that when you're out dating, because this is a client that I was, coaching, right?
Yeah.
Like, that is a compliment. There is no woman that doesn't want to hear that because we are so taught by society that we shouldn't have any odor or it should smell like fucking flowers down there. And that is not reality nor healthy, right?
No.
Like, we are going to have a scent.
Right.
And that I think most women walk into a sexual situation with a new partner and go, oh no, is he gonna like how I taste? Is he gonna like how I smell?
Yeah.
Right? The other question is, if I squirt, is that going to be a problem? Because there are plenty of people that are very like shaming about it. And then there's the other half that's like, bring it. Like, I'm not a man if
Right.
it doesn't happen, right? Like, it's like there's no middle ground. It's either you have to do this to perform that I am doing my job well, or you should never do that. That's disgusting, right?
Right. Not
So
just
like,
let's see what happens.
yeah, I like to hear that. I like to hear that I'm gonna taste you all day, or I'm gonna smell you all day.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like that's a thing that is really soothing to the anxious, the part that is still a little anxious because you don't want to be kind of shamed about it. We had a whole thing when Sarah and I used to do our like pussy confidence workshop. We had a whole thing about like what are different derogatory names that society has for like vulvas, or like terms that we throw at that part of our body, and like the derogatory things of like fishy, or those things. Like, we sell so much product to like sterilize the odor of that part of our body, and it's just like it's not good for you, and it's not natural. And so yeah, that's my like the thing that pops up most is that, God, you smell good, or he said that, or taste good. I think it was smell, because I remember him just taking this big whiff, and I was like, oh, that is so an endearing thing to say in those spaces.
I love that.
The
I
other
think
thing
this
is,
is
the compliment I got that sticks with me the most was, you're so present, right? Like, I've had plenty of sexual partners that I'm like, where do you go? Especially men that think that they should they have that, I'll just think about baseball and then I won't come, and I'm like, I'd rather you come and be here than thinking about baseball. Like, that's
yeah.
not, I have a kink for people to come fast. Like, that's what I've learned about myself. It's like,
I
if I
I
can
had
make
a
you
guy.
come faster than you want to, I win.
Yeah.
That's my kink.
I love that. I had never thought about intentionally distracting my mind until the very first guy that ever did that I knew about. Um, he was fucking me, and he all of a sudden he starts going, "Oh, I'm close." He goes, "Grandma, grandma, grandma, grandma." It was like, and I remember thinking, "Wait, hold on. You're trying actively not to come yet, and so you're thinking about and saying out loud,
You're bringing your
grandma."
grandma into our space.
Right. That's kind of weird. But I will admit that I have also felt pressure many times to last longer.
Mm-hmm.
And after I heard that, I started doing that. Not every
Mm.
time, but
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when frequent, I would say more often than not, if I feel pressured to last longer, especially because usually what I'll say is, oh, I'm getting close.
Mm-hmm. And I want that
What if,
communication, right? Because I can stop.
mm-hmm,
It's not always going to stop the train, right?
yeah,
Like, if you don't catch it quick enough, you're not necessarily going to stop the train. But I want to know that, because
yeah.
like, I
But
might not be ready for you to finish.
yeah, there's two different ways though that you can communicate that
Mm-hmm.
you're not ready. One is, oh, don't do it yet. And it's
Mm-hmm.
like demanding. And that
Mm-hmm.
immediately I'm going, like, oh God.
Unless that's
Now
your
I have a lot of
kink.
pressure on me. It,
It can
that's
be a
not my
kink.
kink.
I
It
have
can be a
had
kink,
plenty
but
of,
not mine.
men ask me to do orgasm control with them, right? And it's like,
Sure.
do I have permission to come now? Like,
Yeah.
and their body gets so used to having that trigger,
But
you
even
know.
that is kind of consensual.
Oh, for
Because, well, not
sure.
kind of, it is consensual because
If
they're
it's,
asking for that.
yeah,
But
absolutely. Demand to, like, you're going to be in trouble if you,
that if
yeah.
I feel as though I'm going to be in trouble, then it's like, this is not
Or
fun.
you're a bad lover, or,
That the shame.
mm-hmm.
But if someone's like, oh wait, there's still one more position I want to try, then having that reason, it doesn't feel like
Mm-hmm.
shame anymore. It's like, oh, yeah, sure, okay, hold on, I'll hold it. All right, let's get into that, and then it still
Mm-hmm.
allows me to be present. But if
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, I will be shamed if I come right now, then I'll go, okay, let me think of something to like get out of this. It doesn't really work all that well for my body though.
I was with a
I've
new
tried it a few times.
partner. I was with
What?
a new partner recently, and I realized in the midst of the sex that we hadn't talked about how he would prefer to finish, or how soon, how because he's not my regular partner. I know the cadence of sex with my partner, right? I know that we both are good with things going quicker because it's kind of my kink. Like I know that for me there's a buffet of sex. It's not a certain, like, PIV isn't the thing. With this person, we hadn't talked about what does finish look like for us.
Right.
And I happened to get him a little closer than expected. And I stopped and I go, oh, I could tell he was real close. And I go, oh, wait, we didn't talk about this. Is this how you want to finish? And he's like, too late now. And I was like, all right, we're finishing this way, right? Because the train left the station, right? Like, and I had a great time. I thought it was wonderful. Like, that is not what makes, long sex is not what makes for good sex for me at all. Like, it can be, but it's not, it is absolutely not the what is the thing I'm gauging is not how long the erection lasted or.
Yeah. To me, it's about the connection. Did I feel connected? Did I feel like I could be my authentic self? Did I feel like someone saw me vulnerable and validated me? And vice versa? Did we get to have this intimate connection?
Did I feel like I didn't have to hold myself back?
Yeah.
Because that is real.
Performance,
yeah.
It wasn't.
Yeah.
Yeah. Except for, I will say, I can get into a performance kink.
Right.
Porn.
Right.
Like, if that's the goal, to be a performance, then I can turn it into something that's hot. But not in my personal life. If it's not meant to be a performance, I don't want to perform for someone that I'm just trying to have an intimate sexual experience with.
I tell a funny story. Back when I was first divorced and I was out dating around, I found myself in a situation where the guy came really fast. I hadn't come yet. This is a multiple situation, like, where it happened a few different experiences with the same person. And it was like maybe the second time. So I brought a vibrator with me and I found myself literally trying to get off next to a man that had fallen asleep. And I wasn't even turned on. And I stopped myself and go, what are you doing, Michelle? Like, are you performing for this guy and he's not even awake? Take your ass home. Take your ass home, Michelle.
Right.
You are not doing this. This is old shit behavior, right? I was still in Michelle, like, barely 2.0, right?
Yeah.
Like, I was baby new Michelle. And it was just one of those moments where I was like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah. I've only recently been able to start realizing when I really genuinely don't care about coming, but I've enjoyed the experience and I'm like, I'm done, I'm complete.
Yeah.
And being able to say that, because I used to feel like, oh, well, it isn't a complete experience until we both get off. But sometimes I don't want to.
Yeah.
And that's not necessarily because I'm like, oh my God, this is bad, I need to get out of here. Sometimes it is that. But most of the time, it's not that.
Sometimes I like to just be a giver.
Sure.
And make the whole session about my partner.
Yeah.
And that does not include my orgasm all the time. Like, right. and I'm totally happy with it. And even if I want to get off, I have ways to get off. And if it's not there, I'm not going to force my orgasm either. Like, it doesn't mean we didn't have sex.
Right.
It doesn't mean it wasn't pleasurable. You can have pleasure without orgasms.
Absolutely.
And it's why I eat chocolate peanut butter ice cream. It's pleasure. It feels good.
I like to take the chocolate ice cream from Trader Joe's and peanut butter and just like scoop a spoon of peanut butter and then like scoop chocolate ice cream.
Oh, see, I like to melt the peanut butter and pour it on top.
Oh, that sounds really good.
Yeah. Anyways.
We might have to show each other our method.
We'll trade our favorite. Well, I have a brand of peanut butter, chocolate peanut butter ice cream that I love. Tillamook, is that how you pronounce it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
That one, it's the peanut butter is so salty in it. It is such a good contrast. So yeah, when you come over, that'll be our after sex dessert.
Yes.
So
I love an after sex dessert. That's what all sex should include: an after sex dessert or snack.
Sorry, I have to plug in my computer because I had it. Before we set off, I just have to say a really funny story. I said to Alex the other day, do you want to hang out on Tuesday and meet my friend Phoenix? And you're like hang out, or like hook up, hang out, or something like that. I was like,
the word you said, do you
want to hang out?
Used hook up.
Hook up. I did. Yeah. And you were like,
I was like, which kind of Hook up.
And I was like, oh, that's a really fair question.
Yeah.
We're in a weird place in our friendship. I think
Right.
it's such a pulled in many directions. Anyways, I have to run. Where can people find you online, Alex?
I make it very well less easy at the moment. Everything will be under the Alex Gay brand very soon, but for now, coachalexray.com or heyalexgay.com. Both of those sites will have all my stuff.
I'm going to put this one out pretty quick because I don't have anything in the hopper, and why not? There's no reason to hold on to it. I am pledging to those at home. I am not keeping a schedule with my podcast. I'm breaking all the rules. To my friend Arash, who told me in starting my podcast, make sure you keep to a schedule. Haha, Arash, I'm not doing that.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a treasure, a treat. I love it.
If y'all want Alex to come back, just like any guest, let me know. You can send your feedback over at intimacylabpodcast.com. There's an actual form there. You don't even have to, you can do it anonymously. You can just be like, oh my God, I want more Alex or whoever, and I would take requests. So till next time.
See you.
Thank you for joining us. If you'd like to comment, pose a question, or learn more about the guests often featured on the show, visit us at intimacylabpodcast.com. Please also take a moment to review us on your favorite podcast app. It's one of the best ways to show your support. As for me, you can find out more about my work at meetmichellerenee.com, as well as on most social medias at meetmichellerenee. Let's connect again soon.